What is up, Facebook Live? We are here, Northeast Kayak Fishing TV. Tonight we got Joe Brancato, the OSKB Angler of the Year. Thanks guys for supporting. It's been overwhelming the past couple of days. The amount of people that have messaged me, Messenger's blowing up. We filled the whole month. Every Thursday and Friday show, we'll have a different guest on. So things are going great. Guys are reaching out. If I haven't responded to you yet, I will. I'm not ignoring you. I'm just overwhelmed with the amount of messages and trying to give the show a new look. As you can see today, I got some new graphics and still learning how to do that kind of stuff. I added a tip me link in the video description. I would really appreciate it if you guys could make some donations. $1. Every bit helps. There's a lot of time and effort I'm putting into these shows. So please feel free to donate. It's greatly appreciated, and it's going to go right back into this show to make things better, so I can get a real graphic artist to do some of this stuff, because I am definitely not a graphic artist. So please hit that donate button, share with all your friends. Without further ado, the man himself, the OSKB Angler of the Year, Mr. Joe Brancato. What's up, brother?
What's happening, bro? You should probably say by default, because Katucci missed a couple tournaments.
Hey.
Here I am.
You got to put in the time to win it. And he went on vacation.
Shout out to Chris for whooping our butt most of the season.
Yeah, he did. He whooped our ass. But you needed to win that one tournament. We're not going to get into it right now because that's later in the show. But you had to win that one, and you did it. So let's get right into it. When did you start fishing?
I started fishing when I was about 20 years old.
That's crazy. I already know a little bit about Joe, so I know what questions to ask, and this is absolutely crazy. At 20 years old, most of us were fishing at 3-4 years old. This guy waited till he was 20 to start fishing, and he's kicking our ass. Continue on, Joe.
Yeah, I'm a late bloomer. I started fishing with my buddy Jerry. I was about 20 years old. Got a job for the town. Hooked up with him. He was he was a spinnerbait guy, so that's about all we fished for quite a few years before I kind of expanded a little bit. And yeah, about 5 years ago, I really started taking it seriously, but that's when I started. I was about 20, here and there.
That still amazes me. 20 years old before you started bass fishing. And after you started fishing...
Jerry, I'm sorry.
After you started fishing, what made you decide to go with a kayak instead of a boat or the bank?
Well, I was never big into the bank. That wasn't really all that fun. Like I said, I started with 20 when I was with Jerry. We bounced around on his boat, usually weekends or whatever. Started kayak fishing. When did it must have been like 5 years ago, 5 years or so ago, when I saw the kayak bass. That when I saw that on the outdoor channel there, what's his name, Chad Hoover, he was big into the kayak, so I figured I'd pick up a kayak just to get some experience. I always kind of knew I wanted to compete, probably because I kind of always thought I was a little bit better than I actually am.
Don't we all?
But yeah, I wanted to get a kayak just to. I originally intended to get the kayak just to get some experience until I saved up some money to get a boat. Turns out I'm not very good at saving money, so I ended up just getting the kayak.
Yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it. With a lot of people that get started in it, is they just don't have the money to one, buy the boat, and then two, to maintain the boat. I know I got rid of my boat because of it was only a 14 footer, and it still cost me too much money every time I wanted to fish. And then repairs and
Yeah.
all that stuff. I mean, it just got a headache. And then I feel guys, once they get that kayak, they just love it so much that they stick with it. They don't even bother saving the money for the boat anymore.
Yeah, no, once I got the kayak, it was kind of downhill from there. I mean, it was so convenient, and I mean, like I said, I would throw the kayak in the back of the truck. It would be on my truck constantly. Everybody knew me around town and shit. Almost every morning I would go to work. Before I went to work, I would just throw the kayak in Chapman's Pond and have an hour or so to fish and then go to work. So I was fishing consistently every day.
Right.
I mean, after work, I obviously go bounce around and stuff, but yeah, I mean, it's convenient. It's fairly affordable, and
it is. It's a
way to
great
go.
sport, and I got started the same way. You already know the story. I mean, but guys watching, I got started the same way. Saw that kayak bass fishing show, and from then on, started with a kayak, and here I am. So,
Yep.
you kind of touched on it a little bit. I was going to ask why the tournaments, but you said it. I mean, you feel like you were better than you really are, but I mean, in depth, what really made you want to get into the tournament thing? Was it the money? Was it the bragging rights?
I've just always been competitive, man. I like competing.
Testosterone, man. It does it to us all.
A lot. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I mean, I've always been competitive. Whether it's just fun fishing with friends who can outfish who, and it turned into one of those deals. And it was funny. I think Dan Johnson hit me up on Facebook and told me about RIK or whatever it was, and hit them up, got in, and I mean, last year was my first year competing. Lucky enough to I don't know how I came in third place in Angler of the Year points over there, but
it's the hard work that you put in, man, and you're dedicated to what you do, which we'll get into in a few minutes. What do you think gave you the most success this season as far as like bait setup or preparation? What gave you the most success?
Probably pitching, man. I mean, that's throwing a jig around. Probably what did it. At least that's when I feel like I'm at my. Oh, it's tough, man, because I kind of thought that being versatile was really important, which it is, no doubt.
You got to know when to switch.
But to me, I mean, that kind of gets in my head because I don't know. You try to be versatile, and sometimes you got to stick with what you. I mean, sometimes sticking with what you know will bite you for sure. I mean, I flipped the jig all tournament long and completely stunk it up. But man, if I can stick to what I do best, I feel like that's what I'm at least placing or doing well or
right.
Yeah, tossing jig around.
And you stick to it more than anybody I've ever seen.
I got to stick to it more often. Is what I need to do. I try it, when you're fishing with like the, Kevin, the Amarols anyways, man, those guys are beasts, man. And
always in the top.
I'll toss
always in the top.
Yeah. Nah, man, they're hammers. But I tried throwing a wacky rig around here and there has definitely helped me be a little bit more consistent for sure. But
it seems to it gets bit anywhere. You could throw a wacky rig anywhere and it gets bit. It is crazy. No, sure. And the fact that millions of people across the country are throwing a wacky rig and these bass will still bite it. It's insane. It's got to be the most consistent bait going.
No, for sure. I hate doing it.
Yeah, it's painful. I won't even throw wacky anymore. I have to throw the Neko rig because you can fish it a little faster. That weight, it gets down there. You can kind of jig it a little bit. So I don't even mess with the wacky anymore. I have to go with the Nico rig, and if they're not biting that, then I'm clueless because I cannot throw weightless worth of crap.
All right, bro. Well, don't tell everyone about that, though. Get under a hat a little bit.
All right. So,
but yeah, no, Nico rigs
yeah,
are good.
I haven't tried the new that nail skirt, that VMC thing. Have you tried that at all?
Yeah, I played around a little bit. I haven't tossed it enough. I think that day we went and pre-fished Indian.
Oh yeah, I was
over the
throwing
summer.
the drop shot.
I think I did. Yeah, I think I did catch a decent one doing that with a skirt, but I think I lost it shortly thereafter, though. So.
I still can't throw a drop shot. Everybody in the world tells me, "Oh, drop shot catch a limit in minutes." I can't catch a single fish on a drop shot. So any drop shot masters out there, you need to hit me up in my inbox. Let me know what I'm doing wrong because I cannot catch a fish. I cannot catch a bass on a drop shot. I can catch a pickerel and perch, but no bass.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not my preferred way of fishing. But...
I much rather power fish. That finesse crap, it's for the birds, man. But you got to do it sometimes, especially in a tournament. Yeah. I mean, 5 bites. That's all you need. 5 bites.
Absolutely.
Anybody just tuning in? Northeast Kayak Fishing TV. We're here with Joe Brancato, Ocean State Kayak Bass and Angler of the Year. We're going to get into the big question right now. Going into Wilson's, you know that you have to win it in order to grab Angler of the Year. And if you win it, you are Angler of the Year. And you also needed to catch a limit because the way our Angler of the Year system works with bonus points, he needed at least the 5 fish limit to get the 1 bonus point. He ended up getting a couple extra bonus points, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But what was your mindset going into that tournament?
I felt good about that one, man. I'd only fished Wilson. I had fished it once before a couple years ago. Didn't really do well. I actually think there was a kayak tournament on it that day that I showed up because there was a lot of kayaks out there. But when I went and pre-fished it, I caught a couple fish right off the bat. I saw that there was hydrilla, or there was grass, quite a bit of grass. I didn't actually go down and to the right from the launch. I didn't actually go down in that pocket, but
where
I saw
that river comes in.
Yeah, I saw there was a lot of grass in there, and I caught a couple of fish, spinnerbait, and I think it was spinnerbait that day, but I mean, I kind of saw the river channel there at that point, and I felt good going into it. So it was one of those deals. I just,
and
stars align for me. I should do pretty good. I mean, knowing Chris killed it this year, right. So it wasn't gonna be easy. But I mean, I fished pretty clean, dude. I mean, right off the bat, I caught the big one. Pitching a jigger on that point, and from then on out, I was flipping a jig for the most part. I caught one going down the pads there in the river section. Tossed out a swim jig. Caught a decent one doing that. Caught him on a chatterbait. So, I mean, my 3 favorite baits. What are my confident baits for the most part? I mean, that's what did it for me. And I mean, anytime I can fish one of those 3 lures, I feel like I got a good shot. So
right,
worked out.
Now this is the fish, right? Yeah, this is the 20 and a half.
Yeah, that's it. And that was first thing in the morning.
That's a good fish, man. That's a good way to start the day.
No, for sure. That's what it is, man. I mean, if I can start off and catching them, even if it's dinks, if I start off catching them and I'm a round fish, then it's usually usually have a decent turnout. It's when I can't get a hold of them early is when it goes downhill. But
Katucci just chimed in. He said he lost his PB that day and he still has nightmares.
yeah, I've lost my personal best here and there too, Chris. We can't all be winners, buddy.
All right, so how did you catch that fish? Did you was that a spot you planned on fishing, or were you just going by?
That was that was the spot that I had looked at. I had caught them in practice on a spinnerbait, and I kind of knew they were going to be around there.
Right.
And I pitched a jig. I missed one right off the bat, and I don't know if it might have been. It very well could have been the same fish. Pitched back, and he ate it, and he was in the boat.
Nice.
And that's if I could only catch fish one way, that would be. I mean, I pitched it out maybe 15, 20 feet in front of me and smoked them.
That is one of the best ways to catch them. I love jacking their jaw with that jig, man. Ooh, it's a great bite.
No better. Top water's fun, but it's not that fun.
Nah, I'm not. Top water is not my favorite. I'm more of a spinnerbait, chatterbait. That might actually be my favorite bite. That rod loading up as you're cranking that thing in, burning that bait. That rod loading up. That's probably my favorite bite. Then the jig after that, and then the frog.
Yeah, frog stuff. I like frog fishing, but pitching a jig around.
After so many blow-ups, it kind of the frog bite just kind of gets boring.
Yeah, you pop a good one though. Well, Chris would know better than me.
Yeah, he's a frogger.
Yeah.
But then again, he throws swim baits on the top water and catches them. So I mean, what the hell?
Around the grass.
He catch them on hot dogs.
Chris can catch them on just about anything. Kid forgets his hooks and he still manages to be.
Hey, can I borrow a hook?
Yeah. Dude, if I forgot any of my gear, I'd be so spun out. I wouldn't know what to do with myself. And
that kid can keep his composure, man. The only time I ever saw him lose his composure was at Sand Dam. And he was having a rough day. He lost some fish. And I actually saw him out there on the water, and I don't know if he missed a fish or got snagged or something, but I saw him whack that rod on the water, and that was the only time I have ever seen Chris lose his cool. And I think that has a lot to do with his success, is the fact that he can control it mentally.
I mean, I showed you that Gerald Swindle positive mental attitude video.
Man, I mean, you got me on that kick now. I have my lock screen, everything on my phone is PMA. I look at it every single day. I started with the elastic band thing, snapping it on my wrist every time I have a negative thought. It's working. It makes me think. I mean, I still have negative thoughts, but it makes me think about how I can create that into a positive. So I'm glad you showed that to me, man. That's definitely works.
I'm gonna watch a video before every tournament just so I can keep focused on that, because when I'm stinking, it goes downhill really quick.
Yep.
If I keep that in mind, who knows?
I'm the same way, man. If something goes wrong, Lake George, for example, caught that 19.5 first thing in the morning, knocks my phone out of my hand, flops off the board. I lost it, man. And then it took me till noontime or something before I even caught another fish. I left the area that I caught that 19.5 in. I mean, that was stupid. So stupid. If there's a 19.5 there, there's a bunch more there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But let's get back into we've discussed your preferred method of catching fish is obviously the jig. Tell us about your setup. What's your jig setup?
On that 7.6 medium, 7.6 heavy. with I got the new 10-0-1 gear
Ooh.
ratio, 20-pound fluorocarbon, I think.
Come on, throw those names out there. We know you want to throw the names out there. What rod? What reel?
That one's actually not a Tharp rod.
Hmm?
That one's actually not a Randall Tharp rod.
It
It's an
isn't.
arc rod.
Wow.
It's a Revo Abu Garcia. It's what I've been using forever, so it works.
Good reels.
Not,
I
but
actually still have a Silvermax that I bought, I don't know, probably 10, 15 years ago when they first came out with
yeah,
them things. And it still works great. I mean, it's sitting on a shelf now because I've switched over everything to Lose, but they're great reels.
yeah. No, I mean, they've been my favorite. I mean, I can't complain. I've had a bunch of them.
And those
I've had some
Tharp
but
rods are legit. If nobody's checked those out, they are definitely legit. Everybody knows I'm a FX custom rods guy. I love them. But those Tharp rods are legit. They are super light.
yeah, no, I definitely like them. They're when I heard that Randall Tharp had never broken a single blank on them, I was kind of like, I should try
Yeah,
them.
especially the way
And
that
I'm
he
glad.
fishes.
Yeah, no, for sure.
He's throwing in some thick crap and jacking jaws.
Yeah, for sure. That's one of the guys that I kind of look up to. So I kind of try to imitate him a little
Right.
bit, but yeah, he
I think
cracks
we
them in.
all do that. I mean, I'm a Jason Christie, Jared Swindle, Wesley Strader kind of guy. I mean, those are spinnerbait guys, jigging guys.
Oh, for sure.
That's my kind of fishing, and I mean, I got it from watching them. I mean, I think we all do that. We look up to certain people and emulate their styles a little bit.
Yeah, no doubt.
So, 4 bucket list places to fish. What's your top 4 places?
Probably Lake Fork. I think is that the one with a lot of standing timber?
I believe so. You'd have to ask
Pretty
Aaron
sure.
about that. That's Aaron's like top place to fish. He could probably tell you like waypoints on that place, and he's never even been there.
Yeah, no. If Lake Fork is the one with a bunch of standing timber, that's definitely on it. What's the one that you went to? The one in Louisiana?
Toledo Bend.
Toledo Bend. I'd like to go there when
the
bite is
that
good.
was one of my bucket list places till I went there in October and caught 2 fish in 3 days. Oh man!
Yeah, no, man. I heard the Southern Lakes are really, really tough that time of year, man. So that's not a.
And the conditions sucked. It was super windy coming out of the
Yeah.
north, and if anybody knows that place, it sits north-south, 65 miles long. If you're in the south, you're getting the crap kicked out of you by those waves. I mean, we were out there in some big waves in kayaks.
Yeah, I forgot who I saw. I think was it Randy Howell? I saw a video from him, and he said those lakes can be really tough that time of year. So they're really keying in on shad and.
Yeah, that's what I keyed in on. I mean, I have never seen such huge schools of bait and so many schools of bait, but I couldn't find any bass around them. Or at least they weren't biting what I was throwing. And I tried spinner baits, shad colored crankbaits, chatterbait, everything that resembled shad. And I couldn't get them to bite. I ended up catching 2 on day 2 of the tournament. And both of those came on, guess what? Wacky rig.
Catches them, man. It catches them.
It was my last shot. I was like, I'm not going home skunked. And it was late day 2, and I caught 2 fish on a wacky rig in the same little pocket in the back of a creek on some riprap. And that was about it.
Catch.
All right, so that's 2 spots.
It's got to be Okeechobee's got to be on the list, and probably is it Millax, whatever
Millax,
it is,
something like that.
Yeah, I've seen Seth Fighter just destroy big smallmouth there. So
guy is a
That would probably be
beast
my list.
on
Yeah, sure.
smallmouth lakes. Unbelievable. The best, I think. He could give KVD a run for his money on those smallies. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
That dude is
he's
no joke.
he's a hammer for sure. You probably should throw Gunnersville in there, but we're gonna check that off.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. How pumped are you to be going to Gunnersville, Alabama?
I'm stoked, man. Uh, you gotta try to redeem myself from last year, dude. It couldn't be much worse than last year. So, got high hopes. I'm gonna bring that positive mental attitude into Alabama and see how it goes.
Yeah, I can't wait. It should be a good
Fun.
time.
It should be fun.
Hopefully we catch
Yeah,
fish, but either way, it's going to be a good time. I mean,
yeah,
but
no doubt.
hopefully we can catch some fish. And I mean,
I'm fixing to catch biggins.
yeah, I mean, from everything that I've researched, I mean, there's really nobody that says they go down there and skunk. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sure it happens, but all the things that I've seen on the internet, I mean, it's a great fishery. You can go there and catch fish no matter when it is.
especially that time of year.
Yeah,
So
it should be either
we should.
middle of the spawn or right at the end of the spawn. I mean, depending on temperatures, we're looking for it to be right at the right time.
Yeah, no, I'm not really sure what's gonna. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that the classic is on Gunnersville, correct?
Yes. They're
So
going to be pre-spawning. Maybe the north of that lake might be spawning, but I'm going to guess the way the winters have been going lately, the cold has been coming in that like late February, early March, and then getting warm at the end of March and the beginning of April. The way the winters have been going. I don't want to get too much into the details on that lake because I know some guys are probably watching that are going down there, and we don't need to be giving them any
no,
in-depth.
we can change this.
Yeah. All right, so top 5 anglers all time. Can be anybody. It could be your dad. It could be anybody.
Randall Tharp's got to be on it. That's my favorite angler to watch. I mean, G-Man's got to be on it. Hackney. And they all kind of have that in common. They're all flipper and pitchers. Ike, probably Ike, just because he's a madman. And, I mean, I kind of like the fact he's a madman among
Ike.
guys that usually...
I wouldn't say he's my top 5, but I love him. Absolutely love him.
I got to put him... To freak out that much over a 2-pound fish, man.
Every fish he hooks into, it's a biggin. Fish.
Hey, dude loves fishing, man. That's all that matters, right?
You know what? You got to think it's going to be a biggin. Positive mental attitude.
For sure. And for probably Jason Christie, dude. I like Christie. Yeah. Christie's just...
He's been having a bad run lately, but I'm sticking with him. I mean, he's pretty much the guy that really made me want to bass fish tournament-wise.
Yeah, what I like about Christie, because I get tied up in the fanciest lures and all that other stuff. Dude, he goes out there with a booyah spinnerbait, a rogue jerk bait, or a bandit crankbait. And it's like, I mean, they're cheap lures. Right. And he hammers them. So, something to be considered when you're going out and buying, because I buy a lot of stupid tackle that I probably need.
Yeah, I know.
Guys
watching, you have got to see the amount of tackle this guy has. He has a problem. I told him he needs an intervention, for sure.
Serious problem. See behind me?
And that's not even all of it.
Nah, not even close.
That's great.
But I like building my own stuff and spinner baits, jerk baits. Not jerk baits. Swim jigs.
Joe makes a good jig. I like Joe's finesse jigs, the ball heads. Those things are on point.
Someday we'll get something going and try to sell and make a couple bucks.
All right.
Maybe.
Was that 5? Yeah, I think that was 5.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you could win any trophy, the classic FLW, even though they're not FLW anymore, but MLF, Bassmasters Classic, the national championship, the 10, what trophy would you want to win the most?
Oh, Bassmaster Classic would be a lot of fun, but since I don't have a shot in hell of ever doing
You never
that,
know. The Bass
uh,
Kayak Series, it's coming.
yeah,
It's going to be a
that's
classic.
true. That is true. I wish they had some Champlain for anybody that's listening. KBF tournament on Champlain would be awesome. Probably, dude. I want a national championship, man.
Yeah.
Qualified.
Yep.
That would be awesome.
That would be. I love the NC.
It's a long shot, but it would be fun.
If I had to pick a trophy, I would say the 10, though. The 10, I mean, that's the top 10 guys going at it.
Yeah, those guys are
dude,
hammers.
The
dude.
best. The best. I'm rooting on Ken. I'm calling it now. Ken Wood is winning the 10. He's going back 2 years in a row. That boy is winning the 10.
Well, get after it, Wood. Yeah, no, man. That'd be awesome to see, man. Local guy.
Derek Brundle, he's also going. Derek, I'm rooting for Derek too, but in my mind right now, I'm saying Ken Wood wins that tournament.
They're all hammers, man. You're gonna have to tell me how to qualify for that, because I might try that at some point. But
you got to be the top 10 in the country, top 10 in Angler of the Year.
Yeah. I gotta start saving my pennies then, because I gotta start fishing for tournaments. So.
I mean, those guys are on the road, man. They're traveling everywhere, fishing as many tournaments as they can. I want to say last year it was your top 4 or 5 tournaments, whatever, nationally that counted. So those guys put in the miles, the time on the water, the studying. I mean, that takes a lot. I wish I could quit my job. Well, I don't have a job right now because I'm laid off. But I wish I could go out on the road and do that.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. Hopefully one day. We'll see if I can get a little more experience and probably a launch
you never know, man. It could happen. You could win the lottery tomorrow and just say, I'm going fishing for the rest of my life.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, so goals for 2020. What's your goals?
I gotta beat Katucci more often, man. It bugs me. It kicks my butt all the time.
That's everybody's goal.
That's one of them. Yeah, no doubt. I don't know. My goal for 2019 was AOY for both RIKB and OSKB. So, I mean, that's it, man. Qualify for national championship because I want to get back down to Shreveport.
I just lost your volume. Well, I think we're gonna cut it there. At least with Joe. He keeps having Wi-Fi issues. I mean, that was the last question. Anyways, his goals for 2020. We'll go over them real quick. He wanted to win that OSKB Angler of the Year again. But good luck, buddy, because I'm coming hard for that. And he wants to win the RIKB Angler of the Year. And I just committed to them that I'm going to fish the whole season over there in RIKB too. So good luck with that one too. I'm coming for that. It's not one of my goals. OSKB is definitely my goal. But I'll be fishing strong in RIKB this year too. Let's see if there's some comments. Anthony DeLumba, you ain't beating Mr. Katucci. Chris got good momentum, but the season's over. I think if we can keep his momentum to a minimum, we can keep him under control. But he's still a hammer. Just got to get in his head a little bit. Who else we got? We got Deborah. She said, great info, Joe. Big thumbs up. Thanks for the support, Deborah. Who else we got? Chris Gomes was in the house. Thanks for watching, buddy. Anthony DeLumba, big supporter of the show. Thank you. Michael, Adirondack, KBF. We'll have Brian. I'm not going to butcher his last name, but he was the Angler of the Year over in Adirondack, KBF. He's coming on the show. I believe it's the 16th. So that's coming up real soon. Tomorrow we have Kevin Amaral Jr., Northeast Hammer. If you're fishing the Northeast and you don't know who Kevin Amaral Jr. is, you're not paying close attention, because this young man is a hammer. He is always in the top, very consistent, doesn't overthink things. Another guy like Chris. Pete Brancato, go get it, Joe. Thanks for watching, Pete. Joe is a stick in the Northeast. He did very well in OSKB, very consistent, probably the most consistent out of everybody. He didn't have a real horrible, well, maybe one horrible tournament I think he had at Beach Pond. But we only count the top 7 tournaments for Angler of the Year. So we fish 10, and we only count your best 7 scores for Angler of the Year. Plus we do bonus points. Like, Joe didn't win the most tournaments this season, but he was consistent, and those bonus points helped him reach Angler of the Year. You get a bonus point for catching a limit. You get a bonus point for a fish over 18 inches. Somebody correct me if I don't have all the stats correctly, but 2 points for a fish 19, and maybe three points for a 20 plus. So those bonus points can really help you out. I mean, guys could finish in second place and still get more points than the guy that finished first place. I like that format. Most guys have said they like that format. I had a couple people that said they didn't really like it, but the majority said that they liked it. It gives the consistent angler the ability to still get Angler of the Year. And to me, that is the Angler of the Year. The guy who's the most consistent. Not the one that wins 3 tournaments and then finishes less than 5th in the other tournaments. I mean, that's not the most consistent guy. I'd rather see the guy that's getting 2nd, 3rd place, a couple of 1st place wins. That guy's the Angler of the Year, in my opinion. That's why I put in those bonus points. I think it's working out really well. Guys who fish with us, if you think we should change it, I mean, let me know. If the majority says change it, we'll change it. But from the majority last year, most liked it. I think I had 1 or 2 that said they didn't really like it. But they couldn't give me a real good explanation as to why they didn't like it. Adam Rock just joined. Adam, we just ended with Joe a few minutes ago, his last question. We didn't get the complete answer on the last question. He's having some data issues or Wi-Fi or whatever. I mean, it happens. I have Wi-Fi issues sometimes. The last episode we had, I ended up having a Wi-Fi issue with Derek Brundle. It happens. They charge you an arm and a leg for Wi-Fi, and they can't even be consistent with the service. But that was it. Like I said, next week, the 9th, we got Kevin Amaral Jr. He was Mass Massachusetts Kayak Bass and Angler of the Year. We'll talk to him. He's a hammer in the Northeast. He was in the top 10 at Lake George last year. Great angler, great young man. So we'll be talking with him. Then after that, we have Brian from Adirondack KBF Angler of the Year. And there's a graphic on this Facebook page with a schedule for the month. We're booked up for the month. I'm booking into February right now. Northeast clubs, if I didn't get your logo onto that graphic that I made, please get in touch with me. Some of you already have. I want to add your logos to that graphic, or even make a bigger graphic because there's not much room on that. And we'll get you guys on the show. I want to get the directors on here to start talking about their 2020 season, their schedules, their Angler of the Year races, things like that. We'll also be doing tournament results. So those directors can send me the results every week or whatever, every 2 weeks. Whenever you have tournaments, send me the results for that tournament. And I'll be coming on, going over those results on one of the episodes. Thursday nights we do Top Dog. That's the Top Dog of the week. Right now we're doing last year's Anglers of the Year on Thursdays and Fridays. Fridays is the spotlight. That's not always going to be an angler. That coming up, I think it's the 10th. That's next Friday. John Ferreira from 3X's Fishing. He makes bladed jigs, net heads. He'll be on here talking about his products and how you can purchase those products. So that on Friday nights, you could see somebody, although John is an angler, that's not really what we're discussing. We're going to have some directors on Friday nights. Ken Wood will be on here, not to talk about his major successes in kayak bass fishing, but he'll be talking about how he founded MAKB and how he's grown MAKB, and in my opinion, how he has grown kayak fishing in the New England area. I mean, if you don't know Ken and you're in kayak bass fishing in this area, I mean, you got to look him up. The guy's always promoting kayak bass fishing. When I first started kayak bass fishing, Ken Wood was one of the first guys I talked to, and gave me all the information I needed on how to join and how to do that. And then Ken helped me start Ocean State Kayak Bassing. And we're not far away from each other. So, I mean, guys that say, oh, competition, you're taking anglers away. I don't believe in that. If you run a good club, your anglers are going to stick with you, and they're going to fish other good clubs in the area. So we can have Ken on here talking about that kind of stuff. And that's about it, guys. I mean, we're growing. We had a lot of guys reach out to me this week. So thanks for that. If I haven't responded to you yet, I will be this weekend. I will be responding to every single one of you. So we can get you on the show and get the ball rolling. If your logo is on that graphic and you don't want it there, I hope that doesn't happen. But if you don't want it there and you don't want to be a part of this, please reach out to me and let me know. I don't want to force anybody into this. I don't want to force this on to anybody. I'm an easy guy to work with. I'm a no BS kind of person. So just reach out to me. I'm not going to blast you on Facebook and say, oh, he didn't want to be a part of it, because some people may not like what we're doing. So just reach out to me and let me know you don't want to be a part of it. And if you do want to be a part of it, let me know, and I'll make sure you become a part of it. I'm not on here looking to make a bunch of money or anything like that. If you want to tip me and you're watching, there'll always be the tip link in the description. I appreciate it. I put a lot of time into this. getting this started and learning how to do this. I'm learning as I go. This graphic design crap, it's killing me. I can't stand it. That's where the money will go to, is paying somebody to do all this graphic design stuff, because it's painful. I mean, I've been up till 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning making this crap. So that's what the money would go to. I'm not looking to line my pockets with cash from a podcast. Hoping to line my podcast from flipping a jig into a bush. Also, all these videos go to YouTube. For those that don't know, I know we've had a lot of new viewers lately. All the videos go to YouTube afterwards, so they can be watched after if you missed all this stuff. And then we'll also have, there are some on there now, but not many, on the water videos. I go out fishing with another guy, and we BS on the water. You know, you guys know how we do when we get on the water. There'll be full video coverage of every tournament that I fish in. Even if I do horrible, there will be video footage of it. And tackle reviews. The tackle review videos will be starting very soon. And there will be in-tank reviews, not ripping it out of the package and showing it to you in front of a camera. You're going to see it in the water, how it reacts in the water. I don't believe in those reviews where you just stick it in front of the camera and say it's a good bait. I want to see that it's a good bait, and I think viewers want to see that it's a good bait. So that's the way that I'm going to do it. I think I got a video on there about the top 5 baits that I fished this past season. So those 5 baits will definitely be some baits that I'll be doing in-depth reviews in the tank, other than the obvious chatterbait stuff. Everybody knows how a chatterbait moves through the water. So thanks for watching, guys. That'll be going to YouTube. Tune in next week for more Northeast Kayak Fishing TV. Thanks for support, and we'll see you next time.